Hello everybody, and welcome again to another update video for the Jet Sim Flight Embraer 145 project. How you guys doing today? Got just a few brief updates here really quick. One is obviously I've got the overhead in place again, and got the swing down set up, and I've also gone ahead and drilled and tapped. I think we'll focus here. There we go. Drilled and tapped all of the pieces, and I'm using hex head screws that are stainless steel, mostly because they kind of look like the Disa things without being the expensive craziness that those things are. So it seems to be working out pretty well. I like the way it looks, and that's definitely good. So a cheaper solution to something that looks pretty darn good. I've also put in some more bracing supports here on the overhead to keep this from, moving at all, nice and solid. And then I've got some blocks here, which are for these little. Let's see if I can put this in here and hold the camera at the same time. Okay, for these little arches here. There we go. And that is for two things. One is for all of the outside that's going to go on this thing, and then here, this part, this angle and this straight across, is for the actual roof lining that will go inside of the overhead. So I got those for both the captain's and first officer side, and I've got one more set to put further towards the front there to give me something to mount all that stuff to. Right now I have the console kind of pushed out of the way while I'm doing the overhead work. The way I've actually built the whole sim is pretty modular. The sides, these come off. Both of them they remove, and there's little placeholders for them. The whole center console MIP is actually a couple of different pieces. So the top part that extrudes out towards you, that actually is one whole piece, and that comes off with some screws, which is pretty nice. And then the actual flat face of the MIP is a whole nother part, and then the little center stand here that it all kind of mounts to is a whole nother piece. So I've gone through great lengths to make sure that when I'm putting this thing together and putting it all together, that it's easy to take apart. So you can see here these two pieces, these actually come apart, so this whole overhead assembly can come off for transportation purposes. But some of the cooler things that I've been working on is cutting some more panels and getting to other parts of the aircraft that I haven't really worked with yet and hadn't really put much thought into, minus watching a bunch of videos on how some other people had designed these. And the first part is the throttle quadrant here, and I have one arm cut out right now, and then these four pieces here which have a little track cut into them, into each of them. They all the tracks match, and the only reason to make them match is just it was easier to cut them from the same same design. And these are all held together here with a piece of all thread and some nylon spacers here in between. Now this is obviously just the prototyping process here at work, but as you can see, I have this little bolt that goes through the middle here. This will actually be part of a larger piece, a more complex assembly with these. There's actually three pieces of this that actually form what I've designed for the throttles. So this would be the full throttle position, and as you can see here, comes down to just before the end, which is pretty much what I'd like to do, I think. That may require a modification of this, the depth of this. And then as we come back to here, you see that it comes back to this locking position, right? So this would be the null position, or the zeroed position. So this would be, basically at idle, flight idle. And then the mechanism that I had in mind for doing the reverse thrusting is a mechanism that I'm not even sure if this is how it is on the real aircraft, but this is the design that I came up with because it made the most sense to me. and that is basically when someone's holding the handles here, they have their hands like this anyway. And the idea is that when you want to do reverse, is you basically pull up, and it lets the piece come back. Now I believe the Airbus is very similarly designed as far as like how it's done, and that is actually where I got the idea from. Is I watched a guy who, and I'm sorry if I'm not remembering your YouTube screen name, but I promise that I will look it up and put it in the notes below so other people can go and look at your channel as well. But thank you so much for your really awesome idea of how to do this reverse throttle, because it makes it really simple. And so once it's in that back position, there's the other stop, and again down here it's right against that edge, okay? And when you push it back forward, so you know you're done with the reverses, you push it forward and it slides back into place, okay? So now the plan is to have this spring loaded so that the moment that you bring it forward like this, it's going to come down really hard, and there'll be a tension here, so it's in both directions to keep it, you know, so it's not really easy to move this across here. You know, you want to have a little bit of tension, so there will be some tensioning involved somewhere. I'm not sure how I'm going to design that just yet into this design, but I will figure that out at some point. And like I said, this is just the prototype. So yeah, and so the two throttles will go into this center position here, and the spacing here is not exact right at this moment. This is more just, like I said, the prototyping setup. But these two outer sections here, this is actually where the thrust lock will actually go. So there'll be its own set of pieces that will control that thrust lock. So there is the throttle. And then just one other thing that I've been working on, and that is moving to metal. I'm using aluminum here to make the dual yokes. So the two pieces here, and basically all I've done is I've put them together here with just a piece of aluminum bar, and that aluminum bar is basically holding it together with these are essentially 1/4 inch hex head screws with a lock nut and bolt on the back side, and this is just to kind of hold it in place and keep it straight and rigid in space. This is obviously the captain's side, and my plan is to have all of the workings and stuff in this section probably below here, so all the pulleys and whatnot will come down to somewhere down in here, I believe. Helps if I put the camera there, somewhere down in here, in this area, and you know, run across this beam to the other side. I haven't decided whether I'm going to put the pulley system all the way across, or whether I'm going to do like a swinging arms on both ends that are connected with a tie rod. So I haven't really gotten to that point yet, but just wanted to show you that was there. And I think that covers pretty much everything today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the information, and just seeing the progress. And I hope you're getting as excited as I am that this thing is getting really close to being back together, so I can fly it again. You know, I really miss being out here and taking this thing for some flights. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, make sure you subscribe below and tell a friend or two. Heck, tell all your friends, actually. Just let everybody know. This is a cool project. Thank you so much for watching again, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.